Hi, welcome. My name is Angelique, and I'm back with a new talk for astrology. And today I'm going to explore the moon in Cancer placement. So, if this is your first time, I look at astrology through the lens of mythology, symbolism, but also the four elements to really get a good grasp on what we're really talking about here and what that really means. I also have been a student of astrology for about 30 years, and I have a extensive background in counseling, mental health, psychology. So I love to dive deep. I love to just uncover little hidden, like I'm like a raccoon, like I'm just like discovering for knowledge, and I love doing that. And even better is the knowledge, I like to apply it. Like, how does this help? Like, how does this help me understand myself? How can we help other people with astrology and using it in the psychological aspect? So, not just for prediction, although that's totally valid, and I use astrology as for that in my life, but astrology can be a tool for understanding yourself, finding your hidden strengths, also finding some areas in your life that maybe might be challenging and how to overcome that to really just take control of your life. So that's my astrology practice. That's what I do. So if you have moon in Cancer or you are just kind of looking to understand astrology more, this episode can kind of help. And I am going to do this talk on the moon in Cancer through the inner child. So we're going to learn about healing this part of yourself that might have started in childhood, emotions, safety. That's what the moon is about, how to nurture ourselves and how we maybe were nurtured in childhood. So we'll get a little more into how that relates to the moon. But I'm very excited to talk about this placement because this is my personal placement. I have moon in Cancer. So it's like coming home, essentially. So I'm going to start with the sign, breaking down the sign, what that means for mythology and symbolism. So if you'd like to know more about the Roman mythology that is attributed to Cancer, you can listen to the Sun in Cancer episode that I have that talks a little more about the mythology around the moon, and in astrology. This episode is going to be more focused on the emotional side as we relate to it, just to keep it short and sweet. But there's a interesting component with the moon when it comes to astrology and mythology because the moon is not a planet. So we don't have necessarily a lot of direct mythology or gods or goddesses associated with the moon because it's not a planet. Some planet like Mercury, there is a Roman god named Mercury, and so we kind of more focus on that god when we talk about Mercury. But the moon can kind of be whatever you want to apply to it. I, for continuity purposes, keep with Roman mythology. And so with the moon, the best example we have is the goddess Luna. But there are usually in Roman mythology, a lot of times there's three goddesses associated with the moon. So it can get convoluted and kind of all over the place pretty quickly. But let's just focus on Luna here. But know that there are other shades to Cancer, the sign, that's not just Luna. But I'll try to do my best to keep it short and concise so I could talk about this forever. But in a nutshell, Luna, the goddess of the moon, her brother is Sol, the sun god. So they are the yin and yang that kind of keep the world going, the universe going. And Luna, being the night, has been said or foretold, I guess we could say, that they would come down at night and watch over their lover. They thought they were very beautiful, and so they would pepper them with kisses at night and just be protective and watch. So just like a moon, we are going to feel the energy and the protective quality of the moon, the more intuitive nature of the moon, but it's going to be indirect. So just like the moon goddess who came down and just watches over someone, there's not a lot of force there. There's not a lot of direction. So emotions that typically are associated with Luna, the moon goddess, is intuitive, caring, nurturing. We can also put protective in there too. Another goddess that is usually with Luna in Roman mythology is the name is Diana, who is a huntress. It's a protector of nature and the forest. But then the third goddess associated with the moon in Roman mythology is Hecate, and that is more of a goddess of the underworld. So we can have more emotions depending on the person and what's going on in their natal chart. When they have Cancer that shows up, especially in the moon, the emotions can be tied to kind of darker, hidden, or a mysterious quality. So their emotions might be hidden, not just to other people, but maybe to themselves. So it's mystery is it's a mixed bag. You can be mysterious to other people, or you might have a lot of emotions that are happening and they're not on the surface. You might not know what's driving your emotions when you have moon in Cancer. And so, in terms of symbolism, the symbolism is all going to match up because the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so we have moon in Cancer. Everything is going to flow together. They're both water energies. So this gives these emotions a very softer, nurturing, a slower pace. And someone who has moon in Cancer, their emotions might be more gentle to other people. They might be felt in a more softer tone. They might come off more shy, more introverted, more sweet, more nurturing. However, as we know, too much water can be really destructive. Pressurized water too much that's forceful can really break things apart. So we also, it can be easy to slip into being overcome or being consumed too much with emotions. So we really see emotional flooding with people with moon in Cancer, which can happen. And it also, your emotions might change day to day. They might fluctuate more easily, especially relating to what's happening with the moon. So moon in Cancer people, their emotions can line up and be tracked more easily with the moon cycle than a lot of other placements. So looking at the inner child and how that relates to moon in Cancer. In astrology, the moon is where we find childhood and childbirth. So if you're looking at a natal chart and you look for Cancer or you look for the moon, either of those are going to tell you kind of a good story of that person's childhood, maybe their mother. So looking at that aspect, someone with moon in Cancer more often or not could have grown up in a childhood environment where they didn't feel they were nurtured. It might have not been soft in a way that they needed. So there could have been more harsh elements happening in their life. Maybe they were not able to openly express their emotions, and that could lead to hiding the emotions more, having more mysterious quality. Also, might have felt like they maybe didn't have a lot of protection growing up, especially in terms of protecting their emotions. So what this can look like is having a parent who is maybe very direct and even aggressive in how they emote. And so that can be, this is moon in Cancer is a very sensitive placement. So having a caregiver, a teacher, a friend in early childhood that really is maybe this aggressive, this direct, or even just outright angry and very intense, that can be really upsetting to somebody with moon in Cancer, especially as a young child. It's a very, very sensitive placement, and emotions can be very delicate. There's a dark quality to the sign of Cancer. So with Moon, it's going to be harder to feel your way through things unless you feel very secure. So Moon and Cancer people, unfortunately, might have grown up not feeling that sense of security in their home environments or with their caregivers. So it can make someone, yes, they can be really gentle and intuitive, but if they are not feeling secure in their self, in their emotions, and feel like they're able to go after things, this can really make them more passive to other people. Can also make it that you don't open up or trust people as easily, because the sign of Cancer is crab. It's somebody who is going to be very protective. And so combined with the placement of the Moon, there's even more protection around the heart, the emotions. So this can be someone who grows up and becomes very, very guarded with their emotions. There's that mysterious quality. So they might not be as open to other people. And it can be, and if someone does get let in, it can be really hard for them to let go if mistakes happen or any issues come up. So turning towards adulthood, if there are any wounds from childhood relating to emotional safety and security, one thing that I see a lot with Moon and Cancer, I had this too, is you might end up being in very healing professions, very on an intimate level. So being a child and family therapist or a social worker or a nurse, we see that very often as a way to kind of heal this inner childhood, is to give the loving, nurturing, and caring, protective quality that maybe was missed as a child. But this can also extend to friends and family, which is one way to help heal this placement, is to spend close time with friends and family and just double checking and making sure that the people that you hold close to you, your friends and family, are there for you. And Moon and Cancer people can be over nurturing and maybe not asking for anything in return because of upbringing, other aspects of the natal chart. So they might not feel like they need nurturing back to them. So that's a word too, is to really help heal this, is to find people close to you that will nurture and support you in a way that you need. So we want to balance a give and take. You can also help heal this placement by spending time with animals, any pets. Spending time in or near water is really good. I know for me, just even going to a park that has a lake or a river and spending time near there is very healing and restorative. So that is something that could benefit people with this placement. And because Cancer is rooted in our home, our security, it can be really great to figure out a way to make a sanctuary somewhere in your life. If it's not able to be your direct home, say you're living with other people or having issues having permanent residency, finding some place that's a sanctuary for you. It can be religious, it can be non-religious. Maybe you have a room in a library that you book that time and you make it your own and you do whatever you need to. You pull tarot cards, you meditate, or you just find some area, or it's maybe you're able to book a hotel room and you just stay there tonight and you get to eat and order and do whatever you want and be by yourself and just have that kind of protection. So those are some ways that can help heal this part of yourself, to feel nurtured, to feel protective, and to not feel as drained, because like I said, we have two water elements together in the sign, which is great when it comes to nurturing and being in touch with your emotions. But sometimes there can be too many emotions going on. You can also take on the emotions of other people. So it's good to spend time by yourself in a loving, peaceful, nurturing environment from time to time, just to kind of clear away some things, really get back to yourself, learning what you need, sorting out what emotions are real, what are maybe picked up from other people, or what are maybe based on uh, things that you can't see clearly, because the moon and Cancer are of the night. And if we are in a new territory, let's say, for example, you're in a new place, but it's completely pitch black out, it's dark, you don't know where you are, that can be very anxiety producing, it can be very overwhelming, it can be scary. And so we might just hole up and not do anything, or we might just be very afraid. It can make us very emotional. So there's that tendency with this placement, because of the watery element, that we can be acting out of fear. So just a reminder that the more protection and nurturing that you bring into your life, and that balance of clear thinking, logical aspects, spending time with yourself, really understanding what's going on, it's going to less likely that you react and make decisions based on fear or emotions only. Okay. So thank you so much, Moon in Cancer. If you have this placement, please let me know how it shows up for you. I would love to hear it. You can drop a comment. Otherwise, thank you again so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.